Look at these. Maybe, I don't know, maybe, I have no idea. I'm not even gonna try and guess. But yeah, there's a bunch over here. All right, hello followers. Today we are in Colorado near Los Alamos, and we are visiting Bent's Old Fort National Historic Site. It's $10 for adults, I think. Anyway, let's go see the fort. Here at the parking lot, there are historical signs about the history of the area, and there's also a restroom. So, and with running water. Before you head down the trail to the fort. All right, from the parking lot, it is a little bit of a hike to the fort, but the view over here is gorgeous. I believe this is a marshland. I'm not 100% sure, but you can see some water over there. Beautiful purple wildflowers. I think this is wild squash. I mean, look at these yellow blossoms. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but it would fit the region. All right, here's the fort itself. This would have been a stop for travelers along the Santa Fe Trail. They could have bought supplies here, traded here for furs and such. I believe these are adobe walls, but I will confirm. Oh, it is a castle on the plains, or more of a rest stop, depending on your views.
Traveling down the trail? Are you traveling down to Santa Fe?
Sure.
All right, well, it's pretty dangerous. So you better make sure you've got you some good knives. And it's long and hot, so depending on who you're going with, you might need some cologne. But you name it, we've got it. Gunworms, gunpowder, guns, swords, horses, mules, wagons, repair, one-stop shop.
Okay. We're the old. The brain.
So, want to guess how many buffalo heads it's going to take to get a Northwestern trade gun?
20?
A lot less.
Oh,
well,
10?
depending on inflation too, so might be 20 then.
10?
Yep, so 10. So 10 for like a rifle and about 6 for a smoothbore, your cheaper weapon. Native Americans preferred the smoothbore because they were able to, kind of like a sawed-off shotgun, make it a lot smaller, a lot easier to load on horseback. You're seeing them push aside their traditional items, such as flint knife. It's going to break if I drop it. However, this, it's durable. You can drop it as many times as you want, and it's going to be okay at the end. Even cooking items were starting to be on that chopping block of what needs to be changed. Anybody want to guess what this is?
Is that a stomach?
Yeah,
Stomach?
that's a stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they used to cook their food in that prior to European contact, along with traders. And then once after, they're going to get items such as your pots, your frying pans, your cooking utensils, and so forth, and move more into a more dependent culture. George Bent says this, later on after the fort's been abandoned and everything. He's in Wyoming and he sees the northern band of Cheyenne, and he says, this is the first time I've actually ever seen a real Indian, because they're wearing buckskins and they're using buffalo hide for the canvases, for their teepees, and the southern Cheyenne, they're dressed just like this, and they're living in pre-made canvas, like grill canvas, made teepees, so it's a lot different down here.
Alright, so the Bent's Old Fort that is seen today is actually a recreation. This is on the original grounds, but it was the original fort. The story is not certain. It was possibly burnt by Bent himself. It was possibly fumigated and caught fire after a cholera epidemic, and possibly burned by native tribes or others after it was abandoned. But the site was excavated, and in the mid-70s they started the rebuilding of it. And the current fort is based off notes that were taken in 1846, and I cannot remember who took the notes, but it's really cool. It is adobe. It was all done by hand, I believe, to be as close as possible to what it was in its heyday. This was never a military fort, but the military did rent out space here. Bent's Old Fort was said to have been a Babylon. English, Spanish, French, and various native languages were spoken here. And it was a trade mecca. Just tiny cannon. People traded furs, mostly buffalo hides, buffalo coats, like I said, for the goods they needed. And so the recreation of the fort is what it would have been in its heyday, when it was a place where people of all nations could come together to trade and live. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is a real artifact or a replica or whatever, but it is supposed to be a Native American historical art depiction on an elk hide, and this is supposed to be a meteor shower. It looks like this is the native people trading with the white men. We've got buffalo hides, more trading. I'm not sure what the rest of them are. It looks like someone died over here. Someone's decapitated. But it's quite interesting. And it is a great example of historical art. a wonderful time here at Bent's old fort. You can see the fort behind me. Just so much history, even if this is a rebuild of it. This was a place where people came together. They traded, they ate together, they spoke together. Bent was actually married to a Native American woman named Owl Woman. She unfortunately did die in childbirth, is the history, is what's thought. This was just a place of gathering. And then after there was I want to say a cholera outbreak, and things went downhill fast, and the fort was burned and abandoned. But it is a great place to come out, see some history that's not military history. So I highly suggest visiting if you guys are out here in Colorado, southwestern Colorado. Yeah, come check it out. And if you like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next visit, on the next adventure.